Gentleman from California, the ranking member, Mr. Swalwell, for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Dambrot, can you elaborate on how AI red teaming improves AI security? I think you have a platform. Is it Arena? Is that the red teaming platform? How can the federal government better support AI red teaming, ensure it is used to test AI on federal networks? And what are legal protections that are necessary to make sure researchers can engage in red teaming without fear of legal repercussions?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, so, when we think about red teaming generally, we want to make sure that we understand how that system is being used from its outset. We want to understand the intended purpose of that. We want to understand how the technologies are being introduced, the models, as well as the toolkits and data sets that are being introduced as people are organizing their AI system. That red teaming process includes being able to then identify what kinds of vulnerabilities can be identified. What we've done at Cranium is we've set it up so that we can not fundamentally change the way developers work, but enable them to use the tool, we call it the Arena, to basically understand that system, pull it into a place where we can simulate that system, attack it, provide vulnerability mitigation support, and then make sure that that system, whether it's pre-production or post-production, is being monitored and that those vulnerabilities are being reduced, right? So I think that there are opportunities, again, to enable innovation at pace, at scale, without necessarily fundamentally having to overwhelm a business or a capability, so that we can make sure that people get the best products and services with fewer vulnerabilities.
Great. And Mr. Fail, what are the obstacles that you see to federal deployment of AI cybersecurity services, and how do you envision CISA better incorporating AI cyber defense? And if you have time on the clock, could you also talk about quantum computing and how you all are approaching quantum computing and the risk that that poses to decrypting any data that our adversaries may have already captured but cannot yet unlock?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Ranking Member Swalwell. As we look at what can be done and what is standing in the way of adoption from a federal perspective, there is a workforce readiness angle of there is more education that is needed so that agencies can adopt AI, especially for security purposes, with confidence. In addition to that, looking at new IT acquisition models, perhaps that are centralized. One of the challenges with adopting cyber AI is that there are times at which you actually need to ramp up capacity in order to meet a need during a crisis. It's not an evenly used capability. There are some days, on a rainy day, you're going to use it more than on a sunny day. And so as a result, it's very difficult for agencies to budget, to understand what those requirements are. So if we look at umbrella capabilities, such as what's been created with CISA with the CDM program, to help offer buffer for agencies to where they can plan to use capability without having to have complete certainty around the cost. I think we all agree that surging to meet the need in cyber defense is worth the cost. But the question of who will pay that cost and how do we plan for it is incredibly complicated for agencies and is definitely hindering adoption. As we look at quantum specifically, Microsoft is a leader in quantum innovation as it relates to creating more scalable quantum computing. We've had some milestones and breakthroughs there. Still a long way to go in development, but the results are encouraging and I think very supportive of U.S. leadership in the field. As we look at the defensive side of that for post-quantum cryptography, you mentioned the store now, decrypt later tactics that adversaries could be using on data. That means we need to move faster as it relates to crypto agility and moving to more modern quantum-resistant methods of encryption. This is an area that Microsoft has thought about deeply, and we have researchers working on that topic. We also have already included some capabilities within the platforms that are already being used today, such as Windows. So these are areas where we are working hard. There's still a long way to go. But as we look at adoption across the entire federal ecosystem and private sector as well, I think this is an area where tech companies can lean in to do more to make less work for everyone. And so that is absolutely the approach that we're taking. Every CISO should not have to figure out how to tackle post-quantum cryptography. We need a safety net of the underlying systems that power technology and collaboration to make that transition for them wherever possible.
Great. Thank you. Yield back.